Ready, Paul? Good evening. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals on Wednesday, June 25th at 7:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's just a roll call.
Mr. Assessor.
Present.
Mr. Clift.
Here.
Mr. Lindsay.
Present.
Mr. Perry.
Present.
Mr. Green.
Present.
Mr. Watts.
Here.
Mr. Nestovich.
Present.
Mr. Jersey's here. Chairman Safaya.
Present. We have a full board tonight. This brings us to the adoption of the agenda.
You're good.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
Support.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Nestorowitz to adopt the agenda as written. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda has been adopted. This brings us to item 5, approval of the meeting minutes of June 11th. I don't believe those have gone out yet. We have a motion to postpone.
Support.
Motion to postpone.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Cliff, support by Mr. Perry, to postpone the approval of the June 11th meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Have been postponed. This brings us to item 6.
Item 6, applicant, The Home Depot, Representative Cale Songrath, common description 25879 Hoover. Variance requested permission to, 1, allow 1,167 square feet of permanent outdoor storage in a P district. 2, allow 9,770 square feet of permanent outdoor storage in a C2 district for a total of 10,937 square feet of permanent outdoor storage.
Is the petitioner present for item 6?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to read something into the record real quick, and this may clarify why the petitioner is not here. From the planning department, we have an impact statement, and we usually save this for after audience or after the public portion. But the planning department recommends the variance request be further postponed pending site plan approval. The petitioner's request for site plan approval for permanent outdoor retail sales and permanent outdoor storage is scheduled for the July 28, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you.
Motion to
Mr.
postpone till
Mr.
August
Chair,
13th.
We're gonna,
Mr. Green, real quick.
Can we
Mr.
give
Green.
discussion, or do you need to make a motion first?
I'll allow discussion first.
Oh, pardon me.
Okay, Mr. Watson, take, so we need some clarification, because this is, I think, the third time. So, there is a site plan. That okay,
And there was issues with it when it came in front of the zoning board the first time. It was sent back for revisions on the site plan. They haven't finished that. They finally submitted that. I actually got my copy for review today.
clarification, you meant the planning, not the ZBA.
No, the original time it was coming to ZBA,
Oh.
it had a conditional approval through site plan. There were things in there that were wrong to be heard, so it went back to planning, per planning's request. They have not submitted the revised plans yet, and they did now after, it went back and forth with planning members. They finally submitted something that will be heard,
It said July 28th.
July 28th, last meeting in July.
So there's no possibility of any enforcement, because like I had mentioned earlier, they now have a storage container behind the building, one of the large storage containers. So there, until this gets
Right.
past our desk again, there's no possibility for any enforcement,
There is possibility for enforcement.
based on,
What we do traditionally is we don't enforce something they're going in front of planning or the zoning board for until it's heard out. If there's stuff that's not on that site plan, it's obviously a violation of anything without any consideration of approvals, and I will be going out there on Friday.
so these are changes they're making to ask for more variances. So to me, it looks like it's just stretching it out and stretching it out until we get to the next season. This originally was temporary in 2011, I think. So At some point, we can change this back to a temporary, right? It doesn't say permanent forever.
When it comes before you,
Okay.
if the request is permanent, it can be denied, and
Alright.
it can be approved as temporary and go from there.
And so, like I had mentioned before, is this backwards? This is a use variance?
Most use variances have the option to come for ZBA first. In this case, it was a total planning issue, and I believe they requested it come back to them before it is heard.
So, just a reminder, the petitioner doesn't necessarily have to be here for us to vote on anything. Once it's in our package, and even though the recommendation is not to vote on it, and I'm assuming that's what we'll do today, not vote on it, but just to bring to everybody's attention, this is starting to get stretched out a little bit. And there's a reason for it, so I appreciate your answers.
Thank you.
My concern is just while the item is pending, there's no enforcement typically, but it sounds like because something is pending in front of the planning commission, there wouldn't be, even if we denied this tonight, there still wouldn't be enforcement because some planning is pending. Is that correct?
If you deny it tonight, there probably would be enforcement, because then that would finalize it at this point, so it can't be on the site plan.
Okay. That
Mr.
takes
Chair.
care of that. Mr. Watts?
I agree with what, Mr. Green said. And I look at how many times they've come in for a variance, and I look at how the storage, outside storage has increased. Obviously, they're outgrowing the property, or something. And, you got a residential neighborhood there, you got all that stuff outside. It doesn't look good, and I honestly have a problem with that. And I feel like this is a delay tactic because maybe they are expecting problems. But whatever we do, I guess,
And my concern is that it came before us first in March for this season. Nothing's gonna happen to the end of July, so that means it won't be back before us until August. At that point, the season's over.
I have a quick question while you're still up there.
That's why I'm waiting.
I'm glad. So, can enforcement be done based off the old site plan, or is enforcement going off of the current site plan that's pending in planning?
Enforcement would go back, strict enforcement would go back to the previous approved site plan, unless that site plan was deemed to be expired and no longer valid. And then there would be no site plan, and which means they wouldn't be able to have anything. So I don't know that situation on it, but that's just a typical
Okay.
thing.
Thanks for clarifying, appreciate it. I've got nothing else.
Any other comments from the board? I mean,
Well, Mr. Chair, see, I just have that concern because it's like, I actually even wonder if this goes forward, if there we get permanent, if there's enough support here, because I know I personally don't like permanent outdoor storage. I think it's a detriment. Temporary, seasonal, yes. But it's like they're going through these gyrations, putting this off, basically getting the entire season, selling season,
right.
and we're not moving forward. Nothing's changing it from our perspective on this. I mean, that's just my comment.
I almost never agree with permanent outdoor storage at retail, so you're right in the sense that it wouldn't garner my support anyway.
Mr. Chair, to me, it seems like, and everybody else kind of echo the same sentiment. It seems like whatever fines that they're going to get from the city is minuscule to the profit being gained with the additional material on their premises. So to a big conglomerate like that, it's probably just a drop in the bucket. So I kind of have to agree with what everybody else is saying. Your ears are open, your eyes are open. It's kind of obvious to me, at least to me, what they're kind of. It's kind of like a shell game at this point. So that's all I would just want to go on the record saying. I don't really know what to do with this item. I mean, I'm not in favor of the permanent outdoor storage either, because I just think it's gonna become even more detrimental going forward. So, but anyway, If we want to postpone it, we could postpone it. Whoever makes the motion to postpone would probably have to be to the August 13th meeting, if we decide to go that route.
I guess I'll leave it up to the board here to decide if we want to do a motion to postpone or to deny. But I guess I should have a public portion first. I'll ask the audience if there's anyone out there that would like to approach. Sir, do you have a comment you'd like to make? If you could come up to the microphone.
They should be held to the same standard as any resident of Warren, right?
Can you state your name and address for the record?
I live at 11043 Topher, Michael Flanagan. But they should be held up to the same standard as anybody else in Warren, right? So if we did something like that on our property, you guys wouldn't put up with it. So why do we have to put it up with it? Because we're a multi-billion-dollar company? It's an eyesore. And I shop there all the time.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I formally close the public portion of the meeting. I'll turn it back to the board for a motion to postpone or deny.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Watts,
I would make a motion to deny.
do we have support for that motion?
Support. Mr. Cliff has a motion to postpone first,
Yep.
or?
I didn't
Before
allow
Mr.
the motion
Green.
on the
Okay.
floor.
All right.
I'm sorry, that was a motion by Mr. Watts, that was support by Mr. Perry to deny.
Yes.
Roll call.
Oh,
We gotta have
gotta have
reasons.
the
Reasons for denial.
I mean, I think they've outgrown the area and it's a detriment to the neighborhood. I mean, it's an eyesore when you walk down, when you drive down Hoover, you know, and you're trying to get out of the parking lot and you got all that stuff sticking up where you can't see. So it's a detriment to the area.
That was a motion to deny by Mr. Watts, support by Mr. Perry, for the reasons stated. Roll call.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated.
Mr. Perry?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Storovich?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
No, I think they were just moving through the process as they were instructed to, and they do good things in our community with financial contributions.
Mr. Green?
Yes to deny.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Jersey votes yes to deny, with the added reasons that I don't believe it's necessary, and I believe it's also self-imposing to the area, on top of being a detriment to the area. Chairman Safaya?
Yes to deny, and it's also economical consideration. Item has been denied. This brings us to item 7.
Item 7, applicant Terraval LLC, Ramona Keen, representative PEA Group, Becky Klein, common description 23170 Shaner. Variance is requested permission to, 1, allow 20,158 square feet of open storage to a property that the primary structure is 5,008 square feet. 2, waive requirement of no open storage within 75 feet of front property line on Roseberry Avenue, as property is a double frontage lot.
Is the petitioner present for item 7? If you could please start with your name and address for the record.
Yes, good evening. My name is Becky Klein with PEA Group, 58105 Van Dyke Avenue, Washington Township, Michigan.
Thank you. Please tell us about your request.
Yes, so what we're actually requesting is just the ability to continue using the property as it has historically been used. This is actually an old industrial parcel in an old industrial district in Warren. It's about an acre in size. It's kind of an odd-shaped lot. I think it's flanked on the south side by a salvage yard and on the north side by another small industrial. It has 2 frontages, and because it is a small parcel, that 75-foot setback on each side basically cuts off most of the usable yard area of the property and makes it unusable for storage. So what we're requesting is the primary frontage and the entrance is on Shaner for this property. Rosedale is really a rear an area for this property. So we have requested that we be allowed to use that area in the rear for storage ancillary to the business use.
Thank you for those comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting. I'll turn it over to the board for discussion. There is a planning impact statement that Mr. Jersey will read into the record.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. According to the Planning Commission, the Planning Director Ryan Worth, after review of the request, no issues were found to impact the abutting local or general public.
Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Green?
are you, could you come back up, please? Sorry. Are you the owner?
No, I am not. I'm the engineer.
Okay.
I do have the owner here.
So how long have you owned this?
If you could start with your name and
Okay,
address
sorry.
for the record.
Hi, Ramona Cian, C-E-A-N. I live in on Shelby Township, 378 Foster Lane.
Thank you. Mr. Green, you have the
How
floor.
long have you owned this?
Since 2012.
So and I look at some of the backup, I see there's been some signage issues. So none of this has to do with any, you're not putting any signs up or anything?
No, no.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Watts?
Have you been using the property all this time?
Yes, we have been using it since 2012, actually till last year in September. It got vacant September 2024, and back then we received the notice from the city that we gotta do some adjustments, work on the property.
Okay, so a couple questions along with that, and maybe Mr. Watrapon might have to answer that, I don't know. Did you not have a certificate of compliance to occupy the property
We did.
all along?
Yes, I mean, we couldn't have used it, right? When we moved, okay, sorry. Maybe I don't,
This is a new company going in there. It was vacant, a company went in, I believe it was a painting company. They had a lot of stuff out, stored out and everything else. It was noticed at that point in time. They've since moved out, and now it's a trucking company going in that's going through the process. There was, I believe there was a variance, I gotta recall a lot of this stuff, for parking of vehicles or something back there, but it wasn't for the semi-trucks and trailers. And that's the primary purpose, is it's a slightly change of use.
Okay.
There was a CSC prior. The painting company actually, I think, filed one, but wasn't able to put all their stuff that they wanted out there, so I think they left. But the owner can probably answer more to that.
Okay, so that'll lead me a little farther then, so, this is gonna be used for a trucking company then?
yes, the trucking, so
Are you leasing it to a company, or is it your company?
we own a trucking company. We use it for the trucking till those pending company moved in. They were there for 3 years, or 2
Okay.
years, I believe. But it was used for trucking, and now we're gonna be used for trucking
Okay,
again.
so, here's my problem. I'm familiar with the area, number one. Number two, I went down there and I took a look at it. And I'm kinda concerned, like, semi-trucks coming into that area there, that's like, to me, it's like, how do I wanna put this, like overuse. It's like there's not enough room for a trucking company to be in there.
It,
You know, and I read the thing here, that the condition was not created by applicant. Well, if you bought the property and you knew what you're gonna use it for, I don't see how you should get a variance. You should have known you couldn't put that equipment in there. That's where I'm going to.
Well, it's a small trucking company. We have like 6 trucks and a few trailers. It's not gonna be a huge one. It's just, and most of the time the trucks are on the road. It's mostly used for, you know, people in the office to dispatch those trucks. So it's not gonna be, you know, the trucks are on the road because they wanna make money, the drivers and the
Yeah.
company.
I was by there when it was on the agenda the last time, and in my mind, I'm no truck driver, but I'm not bad at it if I had to. But I'm trying to picture how you're gonna maneuver a 53-foot trailer and tractor into that area. It seems like it's overkill, so. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I personally don't have a problem with waiving the 75-foot setback just because the property's smaller. A concern for me is mainly the first item in the request about the open storage being such a significant part of the square footage.
So, Mr. Chair, so the question I have is, so, in the open storage, is that where you're just gonna be keeping the trailers, or what is the open storage gonna be? Like, what are you,
It's parking, pretty
It's
much
just
parking the trucks during the time the drivers are going home to do their break.
okay. See, Mr. Chair, it's like, when I'm looking at this, it's like, if that's gonna be parking for trucks,
And
I'd
we-
rather see a plan that shows this is how many trucks are parked within the area, not just open storage.
And the
Because when I see
parking
open
plan,
storage,
right.
yeah, because like, it's like, I'd be curious to know, like, in that area, how many trucks are we parking?
You know, we could attach a number too, if we granted a variance.
Yeah, but it's like,
you know.
I don't feel comfortable putting out a number. You know, because we've had those plans before, they have like
I
the
agree.
lines, and you could see how many trucks.
I think that would address Mr. Watt's concern too, if there was a maneuvering lane shown on the plan and
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
trucks were
Mhm.
parked.
Because I have no problems with the, you know, the distance and all that, those, but it's like, I worry that just, if we give that just general open storage, is that for 6 trucks? Is it for 10 trucks? Is it for 20
Well,
trucks?
Is it for
You know what I
junk one
mean?
day? Yeah.
Or is it gonna be just piece parts or
Product.
something? You know, it's like, that's what's, I'm hesitating on. So that's my comment. I don't know.
I think, Mr. Chair, I think Mr. Mastarovich brings up a great point, though. You know, the property's only so big. I feel like if we do attach some kind of number to it, if she expands her business, that variance becomes kind of null and void, so they'd have to come back with another site plan to expand on the property. You know, what that number is, I don't know. I mean, she claims that, she just said that they have six trucks. Maybe we go, say, no max than 8. That gives her a little bit of room for expansion if need be. Doesn't block up the neighborhood that bad because of the firehouse right across the street. And then if something changes with the business growing and being more successful, then at that point, they readdress it going forward. I mean, it's kind of what I see. It's kind of a unique property to try to put just anything in there.
Sure.
So that's the tricky part of it.
So, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Green?
so in that piece of property, I guess the question would be then, how many trucks could you get in there?
Okay, so we use
6, you said, right?
12 with no problem. 12 trucks in, when we moved in 2012, we had 12 trucks.
Okay.
12.
And
Did that fill the whole property? Was that
not
the
really,
most
no.
you-
We had enough space to maneuver the trucks and the trailers with no issues.
But no more space for any more trucks, so.
No, no.
Okay, all right.
I mean, but we're never all 12 in the same time.
I
Because
understand that,
again,
yeah,
they,
'cause
they,
they're out.
they work, yeah. And we hadn't had any issues for many, many years. I mean, it's,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to see this rescheduled with an updated site plan, either from the engineer or the architect, just showing the maneuvering lanes and where the trucks are gonna be parked. Are there any other comments from the board? Or questions?
I just wanted to add one thing, Mr. Chair. See, because like, the reason which I was asking about, like, how many trucks and if that's what's gonna be into open storage, because, okay, does that mean there's gonna be trucks in open storage area 1 and in open storage area 2? Or it's like, or is that part of a maneuvering lane where they're gonna move trucks around? It's like, I really think we need to have the site plan identify how many trucks and where they're going to be parked.
Okay,
That's my comment.
I'm in agreement with that.
I think that's a fair statement too, because, I mean, we just just grant an open storage on that property if she goes out of business in, 5 years.
Sure.
Now we're stuck with, we got 20,000 square feet of just blanket open storage
So
on that property.
we could just postpone this, it wouldn't require renoticing. We're gonna keep,
Ask the petitioner
Mr.
to
Chair.
understand.
Mr. Cliff.
Mr. Cliff?
So, reviewing the impact statement on the second page, looks like there were some instructive items placed, asking for a revised site plan, labeling storage areas 1, storage area 2, and what was going to be in there. So it's looking like, we've already, or the city or somebody's already kind of asked for a multitude of these things. Is there not a site plan for this location?
There is, and
There is.
what you have in your packet is the resubmittal site plan, which as far as I know was accepted by planning.
We have that site plan, but I don't think it goes
Let me
into the
look at it
detail that
again.
we're asking about.
No, it does not contain a parking layout and does not delineate precisely where the trailers and the trucks would be put in that area. But that was not specified by planning. So, I mean, you have a non-traditional parking layout here. Typically, if you're parking a full semi-tractor and trailer, you want basically an 80-foot parking spot that's about 12 feet wide. But if you're parking just the trailer, you can get by with one that's 55 feet long. And we have that in most of these perimeter areas.
So referring to the site plan for open storage and then their photograph that's included with the packet, it kind of shows what they have where.
Right.
Tractor trailers on the north, east, or trailers, maybe a tractor, it's hard to tell, it's a grainy photograph.
Right.
Tractors in the northeast corner of the lot, in the dog leg, if you will. Along the south wall, southeast wall, coming west, and it looks like maybe some vehicle parking in there in the area marked number 4 outside of that open storage area. I'm just trying to devise a way that if we want to put a restriction for the number, put a number on things, I think we have the information at our disposal for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trailers on the south side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 on the north side. 14. And if you park your tractors in front of your trailers, gives a room for 14 tractors. If we wanted to address it as a tractor-trailer combination or split them up independently. Nothing can go along that wall on Roseberry Avenue. I can see the traction marks on the pavement where they do their tandem sliding at. That would also be their maneuvering lane. That whole center cap would have to be open in order to turn anything in and out and around there. And I can't be positive, but I think I might have been in that location once in a previous lifetime, but I remember there being an asphalt company there making deliveries with a 53-foot trailer and a day cab. But that was a long time ago.
Yep.
So I just thought I'd throw that consideration out there, that we might have what the board's kind of leaning toward with coming up with a cap or a number.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, do you own 12 tractor-trailer combinations?
Yes, yes.
12 tractors,
Yes,
12 trailers?
Yes.
Okay, and you're a over-the-road operation?
I mean, yeah,
They're gone most of the time?
They're gone
Couple
they go to
weeks?
US, all 40 states and
Okay.
Canada.
Okay.
and
So that's an OTR operation. Chances
an
are less
OTR.
than 3% of their stuff is there on downtime. Anyway, I just wanted to make those points. It looks to me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 tractor-trailer combinations, in my opinion, would make a great restriction cap for what's being stored in the open storage.
But yeah, we would be fine with a numerical cap like that if you wanted to impose that.
Thank you for answering my questions. I yield the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments from the board? Mr. Nestorowicz, is that,
Now, we can have the stipulation that the open storage is only the fact that it's truck and trailer park, nothing else. So we won't find out in a year that, you know, there's barrels of who knows what or something, you know what I mean?
no, we are fine with that.
I would go along with that.
okay. Any other comments from the board or discussion? I think that's a good compromise.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Cliff?
one more time to the respondent, that number 15 is fair for you, that I came up with?
Yes.
If nobody else has anything, I'm gonna draft an amendment to the request, and I'll go ahead and make a motion. Just give me a moment. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant permission to, number one, allow 20,158 square feet of open storage to a property that the primary structure is 5,008 square feet. Used for tractor, trailer storage, 15 tractors, 15 trailers. Number two, waive the requirement of no open storage within 75 feet of the front property line on Roseberry Avenue, as the property is a double frontage lot, due to the fact it's not a detriment to the area and because of the unique size and shape of the lot.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Cliff, support by Mr. Lindsay, to approve the modified request as read.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green, or Mr. Watts, I'm sorry.
No, I think it's a detriment to the area.
Mr. Nestorovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Chairman Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. Your modified request has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This brings us to item 8.
Item 8, applicant Evan Moshe, Representative Evan Moshe, common description 22241 Van Dyke. Variance is requested permission to retain a 32 square foot wall sign on the south elevation in addition to a previously approved 32.25 square foot wall sign on the north elevation for a total of 64.25 square feet of wall signage.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Please start with your name and address.
My name is Evan Moshe. The address to the location is 22241 Van Dyke. My address is 4644 Hillcrest in Silverwood, Michigan.
Thank you. Please tell us about your request.
So I wrote it down. I'm here to request a variance for our sign. Visibility at our location has been a real, challenge. We made many, we had many customers tell us that they had trouble finding the shop, and that's something no small business can afford. I've noticed other businesses nearby with signage that appears to exceed what the ordinance allows for their building size. I'm not here to call anyone out. I just want to point out that that seems to be, some flexibility being allowed in other cases, and I'm hoping to be treated the same, given the same chance. We're not asking for anything excessive, just the visibility we need to serve the community and keep our business moving forward.
Thank you for for your comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair, real quickly, you know, I go by that property basically every day to work, and yeah, it's unique in the shape that he's got really no front space, you know, front setback. He's pretty much right on Van Dyke. There's no room for a pole sign anywhere on that property, the way it sits on the corner. You know, the additional sign for traffic coming south, where, you know, I'm sure you get a pretty good portion of business, you know, both ways. You don't even know it's there until you buy it. So I can understand the petitioner's plight in this regard. The sign is a non-illuminated sign,
Correct.
if I recall correctly. It's, you know, not, you know, light detriment. You know, since that business has come up and running, you know, I've been on the board for a few years and seen this whole project kind of take form, you know, with the setback variances and stuff like that. And it's come a long way. So you've done a nice
Thank you.
job with your property, and you know, my big concern with auto shop is that, you know, it'd end up being a junkyard in the corner. You've actually maintained it really, really well, so kudos to that. And,
Thank you.
He's not repairing cars outside, anything like that. He's running a really good business. He's got nice ventilation in there with the way the sides cut out of
Thank
the
you.
building too. But I don't see this being anything overly extreme to anything else that we've granted in the past. So I would be in favor of this.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, I was just wanted to reiterate, because I was gonna say similar comments before Mr. Jersey actually came in, because I've drive down that part of Van Dyke often. I mean, that building is right on the sidewalk. You can't go and say, oh, let's put in a pole sign or a monument. You can't put any kind of sign there. And you can't say put it on the front of the building necessarily easily, because you got, the traffic has to be able to see the sign. He's not asking for anything excessive, because, you know, the amount he's asking for is within, each sign is actually within the 40 that we would normally give, and asking for one for each part of the building to me makes total sense. So I would be in support of this.
The only knock I would have is that you put it up before coming before us. But
It's
other than
my-
that, I mean.
I ran shops before. It's my first time opening my own thing, and
It happens every day. We see it all the time.
I'm just
here,
trying.
so, yeah.
I keep it clean. I clean the bus stop. I cut down the pole that was sticking out of the ground.
It's a beautiful corner. It's come a long
Thank you.
way, for sure.
I keep
So,
it clean. I try.
Yeah.
Any other comments from the board or possible motions?
I'll make a motion, if there's no other discussion.
We'll close the discussion.
Okay, I would like to grant the petitioner's request to retain a 32 square foot wall sign on the south elevation, in addition to previously approved 32.25 square foot wall sign on the north elevation, for a total of 64.25 square feet of wall signage. Reasons being size and shape of the lot, not a detriment to the neighborhood, and identification.
Support.
A motion by Mr. Nestorowitz, support by Secretary Jersey to approve the request as read.
Mr. Stovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Perry?
Yes for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Sesser?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes for the reasons stated in the motion.
Chairman Safai?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to item 9.
Item 9, applicant Thomas Zaniga, representative partners in architecture, common description 22323 Ryan. Variance is requested permission to, 1, allow 15,724.20 square feet of open storage of trucks, vans, and trailers without a primary structure on the site. 2, allow open storage 43 feet from the front property line.
Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Tomas Zuniga, and my address is 8220 Rathbone, Detroit.
Thank you. And if you're going to talk, if you could state your address too.
Andrew Sawinski, Partners in Architecture, 5059 Elkin in Commerce Township.
Thank you. Please tell us about your request.
So we're requesting open storage primarily. It's very similar to the other project that was discussed. It is primarily over-the-road trucking, so it will be overnight parking and storage for larger concrete trucks, service trailers, and some smaller panel vehicles, as well as employee parking area. This plan was sent through the Planning Commission. They looked at it and approved with some contingents. The parking that is closer than 75 feet from the front parking area is small panel trucks. The idea being we're not gonna park vehicles closer to the residential, we're gonna park them closer to the street. The smaller vehicles having a lesser impact on the Ryan Road elevation. So it's primarily the parking for the employees and then smaller panel vans similar to this. If you take a look at that, that's the small vehicles that are closer to Ryan Road. So there's large vehicle parking for 10 large vehicles, 18 passenger vehicles for employees, 11 spaces for smaller commercial vehicles and trailers, and then 4 parking areas for larger trailer. There is an open space on the northwest corner that is left open for snow storage during the winter time. There's also an on-site detention area. So the placement of that kind of open snow storage is right adjacent to the detention area.
Thank you for those comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting. I'll turn it over to Secretary Jersey to summarize the planning impact statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Says after review of the request, no issues were found to impact the budding local or general public. The petitioner received site plan approval with conditions for open storage of semi-trucks, employee parking, and a new parking lot on May 12th, 2025.
Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Cliff.
Sir, what's the surface of your lot? Is that a paved lot or is that a gravel lot still?
It is fully paved.
Fully paved. And your primary work is concrete work?
Correct.
And this will alleviate a lot of the congestion of your guys coming in and out of that yard on the east side of Ryan, right?
Right.
Well, I will say it looks a lot better than the dilapidated bowling alley I stared at for a number of years sitting over there. I just couldn't recall off the top of my head if you had paved that entire lot in yet. I think the last time I took a hard look over there, you were doing the grading. That was some time ago.
Well, it's not paved yet, it will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna utilize that for anything until after we get this completely done then, right?
Correct.
I've got a concern about dragging dirt and stuff out into the roadway over there unless you've got a plan for that.
Well, right now, it's partially asphalt, except for
Okay.
where they, knocked their building down. But, it's mostly sand, there's no dirt, there won't be no dirt coming out.
Okay, but it's not your intent to start utilizing that area for storage or parking until your project over there is complete, correct?
No, not until it is complete,
Okay,
correct.
very good. That was my one main concern. I appreciate your candor and your answer, sir. Thank you. Have a good evening. I yield the floor.
I prefer that it's paved, obviously, too. That's always my concern, that, you know, if it's stone or dirt, you know, it deteriorates and causes, you know, a whole slew of problems. So it's good that it's gonna be paved with the proper drainage.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Nestorius?
So I guess I got a question. So, because currently you're operating on the east side of Ryan, correct?
That is correct.
So is this just added storage in addition to that? Or are you moving over from one side of the street to the other? What, I was just wondering, is this, or is it just expansion, or?
It's expansion to the east side.
Okay, so that's why you don't, because normally I don't like storage on property with no building, with business going on there. That's one of the things that I always worry about, because if you get the open storage, it stays with the property, they sell it off, and then you're always got a property without a building or a business operating there. But so your existing business on the east side, farther, not that far down, but will still exist, correct?
It's directly across from
Yeah.
the parking lot, correct?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Watts?
how long will it be before you have that property paved?
As soon as we get the permits, it shouldn't take no longer than 3 months.
So it'll be paved before the bad weather sets in?
There's the intent.
Okay. Are you currently parking vehicles over there?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Cliff?
and it was in the back of my head earlier, and I forgot it slipped out. I gotta ask the question, though. Sir, is this specifically gonna be parking for utilization of vehicles used in your own personal business-owned operation? Or do you intend on renting spaces out for other people to park in that area on a rental basis?
No, it will not be rented out. It'll be for, strictly for our own equipment, or rather trucking.
Thank you, sir. I yield.
Mr. Chair, to Mr. Wetchapont, real quick, Steve, I got a quick question. This kind of doesn't really have anything to do with the variances, but I'm kind of going through the variances granted on the property. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a big sign, Bronco Lane sign on that property?
There was, it's still there.
Was that, I don't see a variance in the packet for that said sign. Hold on, ma'am.
She may know more than I know right now.
Oh my goodness sakes alive. If you want to speak into the mic.
If you could start with your name and address.
Dina Gardner, 15675 Alpine Drive, Livonia. When we all started this project, we don't want to tear the sign down. Our intention is to change Bronco to Zuniga,
Of
same
course.
numbers, or same letters. We will clean the sign up, take all the extending pieces that are no longer viable off, take the marquee off because we are not advertising anything on it, just to have the Zuniga name, new painted poles, make sure they pass everything. But when we went to the building department about the sign change, they told us we needed all of this taken care of first before I could submit the permit for that.
So again, the question, is there a variance on the property for the sign?
I'm not aware of it. I don't know if there was multiple addresses and this was combined and it was not caught.
I mean, if we move forward with this project, it might be something to look into.
When they go for the sign, they may have to come back for a variance if it doesn't have one.
Okay.
It sounds like
If
they
it's
will.
over the 75 square feet.
It
So,
probably is.
Just need to get you guys some more help. So, all right.
I
that's all
appreciate
have.
that.
Any other comments or discussion on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion on the item.
I'll close the discussion. Please do.
Make a motion to grant permission to, number one, allow 15,724.20 square feet of open storage of trucks, vans, and trailers without a primary structure on the site. And number two, to allow open storage 43 feet from the front property line.
Support.
And your reasons?
Oh, the fantastic size and shape of the lot, and I don't think it's gonna be a detriment to the area since it's been cleared up that it's going to be a paved lot. I don't see a lot of dust and debris and things like that floating around into the neighborhood.
We have a motion by Mr. Cliff, and Mr. Perry, you still support?
Yes, support.
and a support by Mr. Perry to approve the request as read. Roll call.
Mr. Clift,
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry,
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor,
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green,
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay,
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Nestovich,
A yes for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Watts, gonna wait for Mr. Watts here real quick. Mr. Watts, how would you like to vote on the motion to grant permission? Yes for the reasons stated in the motion? And Chairman Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
This brings us to new business.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Green?
Mr. Watsapont? Two items, real quick, because I know some people gotta get out. The storage container at Sardelli. And I kind of vacillate on this 13 and Mound Flower Shop and how I want to approach this as far as getting a site plan.
I'm sorry, what location? I didn't hear.
13 and Mound, the flower place on 13 and Mound.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I've been concerned about, or actually wondering about it, if there were violations or not, and I really don't have the information to make the correct assessment, and something's off. So I don't want to do it as an individual, I want to do it as a board. So what I'm gonna ask for, and before I make the motion, maybe we can allow a little bit of discussion on it. So I want to get the site plans, copy of site plans for everybody of that property. And my concern even grew more today when I drove by and I thought, wow, it's all cleaned up. Somebody must have said something. And then I drove by a few hours later and it's wrapped with fireworks sales signs. That would be interesting to me, that there was all these multiple businesses that can be run out of one spot. So in order to make educated decisions, I think we need to relook at the site plan.
I don't recall that location coming before us for a variance this year. And the reason,
Well,
maybe
it's
Mr. Waterpont, you can elaborate. Is that something to do with the site plan approval, just bypassing zoning, or?
I believe there was a permanent outdoor sales site plan approval on that.
Well, let me clarify. I'm looking for this for two reasons. One for government purposes and one for enforcement. That's the two reasons I'm looking for it. And I've asked multiple questions since I've been on the board, and I know there's enforcement stuff because we don't have a lot of people, but it's like, I feel like we're getting taken advantage of a little bit. And not that it's not a good business and, you know, people like to go there and stuff like that, but I've had people even say, I mean, for a while there, it expanded so big that it was double the size of what it originally was, and there was stuff all over. They've got a temporary sign there, and that was my original question. Do they have approval for a temporary sign? Because they stuck it right in front of my buddy's store, where they have a brand-new strip mall with brand-new landscaping. And I couldn't answer them, because I didn't have the information to answer them. And now that they're in between businesses, they parked their truck, now it's back out in front of the guy's business again, with the sign, taking up parking spaces that he wishes would be filled with customers, but they're not. So in order to make educated decisions, I think a copy of the site plan would be appropriate for us to take a look at. And I didn't want to do it as an individual, I wanted to do it as a body.
I would support that.
So my motion then would be, if we want to entertain it, we can vote no. So I move that this board be supplied with a site plan for 13 Mound, the flower outdoor sales, for governmental purposes and code and enforcement purposes.
I would support that.
A motion?
I would support that, and I just wanted to add on one thing, because the thing about that always concerned me is I understand that they, at some point, got some permanent outdoor sales, but I always thought that was on the corner where they built the strip mall. So when they built the strip mall, did that permanent outdoor sales move, or
And if you recall, when they were here last year, they mentioned that they were gonna have a store in that strip center somewhere,
Well,
at
they
least
te-
something.
They technically have a storefront that they call, but there's nothing inside that storefront.
Right.
It's totally empty.
Right.
Well, if I can add some history, when I was on the DDA, they came to us to buy an outlot at Majestic Plaza for the same reason, but then decided they didn't want to give up that. So it's been going on for a
You
while.
know, we've heard a lot from that, the owner of that particular, just call it thing. But he's promised a lot of things and never delivered. He said it was gonna be his last year, this, that, and the other thing, just like with the fireworks tents. And he's found some way to bypass us, it looks like.
I thought, don't fireworks have to come to us?
Well, the fireworks do have to come to us, which is a whole nother ball of wax, because nothing's got water barrels, nothing's set up like how we asked them to set it up, and, you know, Steve can't enforce it because it's not on the ordinance. So it's, you know, I'm kinda digressing, so, but I would entertain that motions and be in favor of trying to see what's going on over there.
Question to Mr. Wantrapan. The permanent variance, do you happen to know off the top of your head if it was for the corner?
I believe that it went through probably within the last year for the current location.
I guess that's what that's why I want the site plan. I want to get these things answered without us just going back and forth and
Sure,
guessing.
that makes sense. I mean, I'm administratively, I'm a bit confused how that item can go through planning and get planning's approval from planning without going to the zoning board. What, did planning approve them for permanent outdoor sales, or?
I
is that-
believe they did for permanent outdoor sales.
And that's a permitted use in the zoning
The
designation?
zoning ordinance allows outdoor sales,
It's
yes.
industrial,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Cliff?
Mr. Green, have you just shown up at the building department desk and asked them to see that thing, just out of curiosity?
Mr. Cliff, if I can be clear one more time, I didn't want to act as an individual, I wanted to act as a body, because
Understood.
I wanted this on the record, I guess would be more appropriate. And I'm kind of leaning, part of the reason I'm doing it, and I think we're entitled to it, is because of the fair use doctrine that allows for governmental purposes that we are supplied to. We're not violating any copyright laws or anything, I don't think.
It was a motion by Mr. Green, support by Mr. Nestorowitz, to request copies of the site plan.
Can I chime in here?
Please.
First of all, I mean, I would agree if it was an item on our agenda that this board was considering. This board has no enforcement authority to go out and enforce the site plan. That's gonna be the administration, the zoning and building department. So I don't know legally that it qualifies, that you can request it as a board.
Well, I guess the reason I brought it forward is because there's a document called the Fair Use Doctrine. And what it does is the use of these certain copyrights protect works like architectural plans, obviously. But we can reproduce plans as part of a review, an inspection, or approval of the process. We can also, the doctrine of fair use contemplates the reproduction of copyrighted materials for limited purposes without liability or infringement. The standard courts look at are the purpose and character of the use, including what the use was for, commercial use or nonprofit, and the nature of the copyright. So it would seem to me that for us to speak intelligently on it, that I think we're entitled. But I would be willing to give you some more time to look at this, and we could come back to another meeting and if that's more appropriate.
I would be happy to, because I mean, as I said, I know you want to do it as a body, but I just don't know what the legitimate purpose is if it's not an item on the agenda that this board is going to be considering. You're discussing it as citizens.
Well, I beg to differ. We're discussing this as the Zoning Board of Appeals for the City of Warren right now. And I think we have a vested interest in how this is being manipulated. And that's my feeling on it. I don't think we can make motions on anything. It doesn't have to be on the agenda.
I mean, obviously, we're not an enforcement board, but I guess the question is whether we're entitled to a copy of that site plan, not because it's an item on the agenda, but because we see other items similar, and we want to, you know, we're trying to have a uniform outlook on temporary, selling in those stands.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Cliff?
I just have, before we vote on it in any fashion, I just have to ask the question to Mr. Green, my colleague, Mr. Green. You're gonna request this motion for clarity for our board of a professional nature for education.
No, for governmental purposes. We're a governmental
Fair
body.
enough.
And it's clear that legally, again, I'd be willing to defer and let the city attorney look at it for another week, but I believe it's clear that we're entitled to it. I think it's more appropriate for me to ask as a body than it is to me ask as an individual, because then it looks like I have a vendetta or, I'm doing something outside the scope of this body's authority. So I guess I'm asking the city attorney, did you want to take more time to look at it?
Are we permitted to make the motion, and the city can decide later if they're gonna?
Absolutely.
Would that be proper?
Absolutely. If you want to make the motion and that passes, I can, pending whether or not it's a legal use.
Okay.
And Mr. Chair, if I can just add on, the reason why when I supported Mr. Green's motion is because, over the years, seeing that property have many gyrations of how they're operating there, and to understand where is exactly the sales area, so that way we don't ever have these questions come up again next year and say, oh, is that sign valid? Is that not valid? Is he able to have a tent there? Is he not? Because, it used to be on the corner, then it moved. I mean, it's like,
I'm just a little bit.
What is.
Or at the bare minimum, we find out he has a site plan and it's out of our privy and we go on our merry way.
I'm still just a little bit confused with how the planning department works, because planning approved permanent outdoor selling on this location. Why couldn't the petitioner tonight, like Home Depot, go to planning to get permanent?
That's
outdoor
storage.
Oh, that's.
Sales and storage are different.
Okay. So
with that said, then, so we had I think five fireworks people come to us, and each time, one of our major concerns as a board was whether or not they were complying with these state regulations and stuff like that. They're gonna be selling fireworks out of there next week, and who knows? I mean, we don't know if they've got any state stuff.
I know for a fact that the fireworks tents are inspected by the fire department.
I'm sorry?
The fireworks tents are inspected by the fire department. That's required by law.
If they put in for a permit, they are, yes.
Yeah, so I know the ones in the Warren are getting inspected.
But we don't know that one's gone through anybody.
Well, I agree, and I'll just chime in here. And, I've been watching this for many years, and as a former business owner, both brick and mortar and otherwise, the fireworks places are popping up. There used to be Easter flowers, Mother's Day flowers in every gas station out of the back of a U-Haul. Those have seemed to kind of go away. And then this place over here, and I'm like, and at one time you had this guy operating on the corner. You had Young's Garden Mart, you got the place on Shaner, and place on the Service Drive, on 11 Mile Service Drive, that are brick and mortar operations, and this guy he's got no investment. He pays a few months' rents and he moves on. That's not fair to brick and mortar, and I just think that we really need to have a little more regulation on that stuff. I think it's good to ask for site plan, because we can educate ourselves by the time next year comes and we have all these approvals again. If you look at it now, I mean, we've already learned that there's a problem with the fireworks tents, and with the winds we've had the last couple of months, there's things being found everywhere. And it's like, that's all we need is one of those big tents to fly out and hit a bunch of cars.
And I'll be
You
honest
know,
with
or
you.
one of those stakes come out and go through the windshield of a car and kill somebody. You know, so there's a lot of issues here that we really need to be looking at as a board for future reference.
My motivation was, I simply asked what, about the temporary sign about a month and a half ago. Nothing. Is it on, I mean, I got nothing. So now this is why I wanna see the site plan, and then we can see for ourselves, for example, if they can have a temporary sign. So someone who invested over $100,000 in putting a new business on there with a new parking lot, with all brand-new landscaping, has a legitimate complaint.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm curious if that individual who feels that way over there has made a complaint to the proper authorities and gotten any kind of a result or lack thereof.
I'm making a complaint for him through this body.
And nothing, right?
What's that?
Nothing, right? Nothing, no answers, no
For me, you mean?
response? To you?
I don't think he has.
Yeah, okay.
What, and what does that have to do with this motion, though?
No, I'm just curious, going on the record saying that I know that this body has forwarded complaints of certain things that we become aware of before. Sometimes we get answers back on them, and sometimes
Let's be
we
honest, if
don't.
we're forwarding complaints, we could be here till 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'll yield.
Thank you, Mr. Wetzman.
We have a motion by Mr. Green, support by Mr. Nestorowitz to provide us copies of the site plan at the 13 Mile and Mound flower stand. All in favor?
Aye. Any opposed?
None? Obviously, subject to permissible disclosure, whatever you want to call it. Any other new business? Motion to adjourn?
May I ask one question?
Yeah.
I was coming up trying to take notes. You said 2 items. The first item I heard storage. Where was?
Remember that storage container at Saturday Lake Pools, that big one?
I can't hear you.
13 in Van Dyke.
Storage container at Saturday Lake Pools, that giant one.
Oh, yes.
Remember you mentioned to me when you were doing the Lowe's?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
I actually have one other item I wanted to mention to Steve real quick before we adjourn. 22660 Van Dyke.
22660
Van Dyke regarding signage on the side of the building. South side. That's all I got.
We've got enforcement already on that one.
Okay.
Great.
The hamburger?
Yeah.
I got one more. Just what Steve needs.
I am off tomorrow, so I might not remember all
I was
this.
gonna bring it up earlier under the item, but the Shaner location for the trucking company.
Yes.
When I was down there, and in all fairness, it was like a month or so ago, on Roseberry, just to the south of that property, or maybe equal to the property, there's probably a 45-foot semi-trailer sitting there, and it looks like it's been there for 25 years. And you could just tell by the garbage underneath it, the tires, and everything like that. And I meant to bring that up before. I'm just wondering if somebody could take a peek at that. I'm not sure who it belongs to.
So it was near the agenda item, but not on that property?
It was not on the property, it was on Roseberry.
On Roseberry?
Yep.
Okay.
Those things kind of bug me, Steve, because it's like, okay, so we had staff go out and look at the property to generate the information, and somebody probably drove by that, and I was like, didn't the light go off? And I apologize if that was you.
I'm not in the field too much anymore, but I understand your frustration on a lot of these things.
Yeah, so, thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
Motion by,
No, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Sorry, I forgot you can't make motions. Motion to adjourn. Support.
a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by, is that Mr. Perry? To adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned 8:39.